Hello, party people. Welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast. And hilariously, even though I said I wasn't going to do weekend episodes, I am doing weekend episodes. So, as is typical with my whole jam, I guess I'm just going to do stuff when I feel like it. And you guys are going to get a million episodes day after day when I'm in the mood, and I'm in the mood. So, let's do it. So hello, welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, where I talk all about life, love, magic, witchcraft, tarot, and everything in between. Speaking of tarot, I am really excited to say that I just was in touch with the Wiser Books people who published my first book, Witch Body, after I self-pubbed it. They acquired it back in 2019 or something. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure they are going to send me a bunch of tarot and oracle decks to unbox and talk about on my YouTube channel. And so I am so excited about that. And I gave them this really long list, and I'm hoping it's not too long, but I'm just excited. I love new decks, and I love showing you guys new decks. The feedback on the deck unboxing videos in particular have been really, really good, and it was just really fun to go live on YouTube. It's been interesting. Last night I did a YouTube live and an Instagram live at the same time. It was 2 hours, just kind of chit-chatting about whatever with people, and it was pretty fun. I haven't done lives in a really long time. Yeah, I used to do them all the time during the pandemic, so it's kind of cool to tap into that again. If you want to give that a watch, it is in 2 parts on Instagram at Sabrina M. Scott, and then I also have it on YouTube all in one go, because YouTube does not actually cut you off after an hour like Instagram does. So if that's your thing, check it out. It's not too serious, nothing too crazy, but definitely a vibe. And so if you want more lives, let me know. My YouTube is youtube.com/Sabrina Scott. Check it out. And of course, I launched my Feminine Energy Without Bullshit course yesterday. It's really technically a pre-launch. It's not going to be a whole big giant launch. I'm going to save that for a little bit later, but I am excited about it. I think it'll be really fun, and I'll talk more about that, I think, in another episode of the podcast. I don't really want to talk about that today. I just want it to be a quick and breezy, chill episode today, and just wanted to kind of shoot the shit about the feminine energy stuff. So obviously my course is going to be in depth, and actually you guys can check it out. The link is going to be in the information section, but it will be sabrinamscott.com/FEWOBS. So a lot of my tarot and magic students have been calling my tarot and magic without bullshit courses TWOBs and MWOBs, which I think is the most hilarious thing ever. And so this course is going to be FEWOBs, I guess. And so if you, for some reason, if it's not loading for you, just send me an email and I'll send you the link and you can check it out. Full curriculum is on there. But predictably, and this makes sense because I do talk about this, but sometimes people will ask oh, is this course all about men and dating? And the answer is no. And it's funny because doing this whole feminine energy thing has significantly improved my life, more than I can explain. And it has made my dating life better than it's ever been. Yes, I am still single as a Pringle, and I will be until I've got a fancy ring on my finger. That is my philosophy about this stuff. Don't let your boyfriend get in the way of your husband. I fully believe it. If you don't agree, that's okay. But I do talk about how this feminine energy thing has totally shifted my relationship to dating and men and humans in general. But more importantly, and what I want to talk about today, is it's also really drastically shifted my relationship to myself. And so, well, I think obviously those ripple effects of having an amazing dating life, having, just being happy with myself, all of that stuff, my confidence, my self-belief, my ease in the world, I don't want to toot my own horn in a dating context, but Like, I don't know, things are fun. Like, I have a good time and I'm treated well. Like, I don't really know what else to say about that without getting too much into the weeds right now. But a lot of it just comes from this transformation of the self. And we might originally be motivated by, like, oh, I want to have a better dating life, or I want to be treated better by other people, or I just want someone to buy me flowers every week, or whatever. We can fill in the blanks and fill in the blanks on of what we want this like external situation to look like. But ultimately, all of that comes from our relationship with ourselves. And so while, yes, I do talk about feminine energy in a dating context, in a love context, in a romance context, ultimately it is about shifting you, right? Shifting your being, shifting your energy, shifting like your confidence, shifting your inner peace. Because as I've stepped into feminine energy, I'm not codependent, I'm not controlling, I'm not anxious. And for me, all of that stuff, like my unhealthy attachment stuff, always came out in a dating context. And so ever since I've been embodying feminine energy, all of that stuff becomes moot. Abandonment becomes like not really a thing. Like fear becomes not really a thing. Anxiety about dating more or less like gets thrown out the window. Anxiety about most things gets thrown out the window. Insecurity about most things gets thrown out the window. And it sounds kind of crazy to say, but it's like it's created this space of insane healthiness, like mentally for me, where it's like there's no trying, there's just being, and there's just this acceptance of who everyone is, where they're at. There's no persuasion, there's just being. And that sounds maybe a bit hippy-dippy, but I think that's something that is so beautiful about feminine energy. And I know, like, in the course pre-launch live party, and if you guys came, thank you so much. The replay link got sent to my newsletter, so if you're on the mailing list, you can find that. If you are not, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just send me an email, ceo@sabrinamscott.com, and I will hook you up with the replay link. But it can, excuse me, but it can be something that people misunderstand with feminine energy, where they will think that, oh, am I saying masculine energy is bad and feminine energy is good, or masculine energy is assertive and feminine energy is passive? It's like, well, no, it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's not as oversimplified as that. And what's really cool about this is we each have both of these energies inside us, right? The masculine energy and the feminine energy. And I think part of what all of this is about is learning how to harness each of those energies and allowing each to come out and play when we want to. But what I've seen in a lot of women these days, especially, is there's often an inability to connect with the feminine. There's like a fear of it. There's a confusion about it. There's a feeling that feminine energy isn't safe or that it's too vulnerable. And honestly, I understand that completely. Like, I've been there. Like, I know what that feels like because I've felt that. And I think there's been a lot of reasons why it was so hard for me to connect with feminine energy in the past. And that was one of the reasons. Absolutely. So I get it. But I think as a culture, we need to move away from this idea that if someone is interested in talking about feminine energy, that they're interested in like weirdo Andrew Tate, like Handmaid's Tale, like stuff, because like that's not my vibe. You guys know that. And I think it's not a lot of people's vibes too. But it's weird because that is like the only dominant conversation right now about like male, female, masculine, feminine, energetic polarities. And one thing I want to say, just in case you guys don't realize that I think this, is that even within like same-sex or same-gender couples, you often do still see this energetic polarity of masculine and feminine. And so anyone can do what they want, like YOLO. At the end of the day, you do you. like, do what the fuck you want. I'm all good with that. There's always exceptions to the rules. There's always outliers. There's always people who beat to a different drum or whatever the expression is. But the fact of the matter is, I think a lot of women want to embrace feminine energy and are shamed out of it, are afraid of it, are worried of what people are going to say or what people are going to think. They're afraid of judgment. They're afraid, like, does this mean I'm going to be totally helpless? Because in pop culture, like The Handmaid's Tale and all of that, and like, don't get me wrong, I love the book, I love the show, but a lot of the time people are brainwashed that this is like the only option if we talk about gender polarity or energetic polarity between different types of energies, be they masculine and feminine, assertive and passive, or doing and being. We're taught that, we shouldn't talk about this stuff. But ultimately, what I think is so interesting about all of this is it can create a drastic new relationship with the self. Because a feminine energy is about embodiment in the present. It's about expanding our capacity to receive. And in a dating context, that might look like gifts. In a personal life context, that might look like being more comfortable dancing. Being less afraid of our body. Being able to let go more during sex and like have more orgasms or have deeper orgasms. It can look like learning more about food, right? It can look like all these different things. Embracing the beingness. It can be also diving deeper into mediumship. Because what is mediumship but a form of receiving and expanding our capacity to receive? And I teach all about that in my Magic and Tarot Without Bullshit courses. And of course, in this feminine energy course, I'll be talking about the relationship between feminine energy and spiritual practice. There's a few modules about that in the course. But ultimately, I think what a lot of people forget or turn an eye away from is a lot of this is so much about this internal alchemy, drastically shifting our relationship with ourselves, with our own energy, and doing what the main definition of magic often is, right? The ability to change consciousness at will. What if we can change our whole vibration at will? What if we can shift from masculine doing, hustle energy into soft, feminine, easy breezy receiving energy when we want to? Because we can be both. I'm both. You can be both too if you want to, and that can be in different amounts. Maybe you're 80% in your masculine and you want to get to 20% in your feminine. Awesome. I love it. Maybe you want to get more 50-50. But part of this is about deepening your relationship to yourself and your ability to control and shift and transform and expand your own energy, your own vibration. Rather than being a pre-programmed being. And that sounds maybe a bit odd, but I think a lot of women are on autopilot. And a lot of women are autopilot in masculine energy mode, where they pick up the slack of people, they overgive, they caretake. And oftentimes women feel coerced into overly caring for other people that are not our responsibility. It may sound harsh, but I think a lot of women could do well to turn all of that love and care and energy and caretaking back into ourselves. Because once we do that, we become able to make space for that feminine energy to emerge, right? And I have another podcast episode about this. It's about how healthy masculine energy creates space for healthy feminine energy. But guess what? We can be both as well. We can activate our healthy masculine energy within ourselves to take care of ourselves, to heal our trauma, to make space for ourselves, to do self-care. And all of that masculine caretaking of ourselves can create the space for us to unfurl into our feminine energy. So while other people can be involved, they absolutely don't have to be, right? So this isn't all about just getting the guy or whatever the fuck. That can be cool too. Don't get me wrong. And I'm happy to talk about that with folks, obviously. But, and that internal alchemy that can happen inside the self, that is the real prize. being so at ease in our body, being so at ease with who we are, being so connected with that feminine essence, not in a cheesy, like fake way. And honestly, I know you do see a lot of that shit on Instagram. It makes me cringe too. But I think there's a way to do it that's authentic, that isn't weird, that isn't trite, that isn't contrived. Like, there's ways to connect with this shit that is not fake, it's not contrived, it's not weird, and it's also not Handmaid's Tale. Like, I think there is an authentic path that we can all walk that feels real, that feels lived in, that feels, yes, feminine energy vibes, but that also feels true to who we are and who we are stepping into. So ultimately, there is so much about this that is about you. Who do you want to be? Who are you now? What needs to happen for you to go from point A to point B? Are there aspects of this life that you have cut yourself off of because you feel like you're not worthy of it, or that aspect of life is just not available to you? Like, oh, fairy tale trips and romance, that's for other people, not for me. That's, that's other people's normal life. I can't achieve that. Oh, like, being hit on by random people, like in a kind, generous way, that's for, and having like a random meet cute on the street, that exists in movies. That doesn't happen in my life. Or, people embodying the goddess and embodying feminine energy and inspiring everyone around them and just leaning into full self-confidence, full self-assuredness, inner peace, no codependence, no anxiety. That's for other people, not for me. I've heard this type of stuff from so many folks, and I just want to assure you that all of this is for you. If you want it, it's 100% possible. I've achieved the things. Obviously, it's always a work in progress. I'm always learning, and this whole feminine energy thing has completely, drastically shifted my being, and I think for me, it was the missing piece of a lot of my magical practice. So remember that this is about you, right? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And one of my cats is clawing on something. I don't know if you guys didn't hear that, but if you hear a weird noise, that's what's going on. All right, friends, so happy Saturday. Remember, feminine energy is about you. The other stuff that comes with it is all the icing on the cake, like the stuff that you end up receiving from others. Just because of feminine energy of receiving will attract that giving, doing energy of folks who are connected with their masculine. Very interesting and like weird how it happens. Like, it's really cool. It's possible. So again, if you're curious about the new course, you can check it out. SabrinaMScott.com/FEWOBS. Pre-launch is not going on for that long, just a week or so, and it is going to be way cheaper than the launch. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want to jump in as soon as you can. If you got any questions, again, send me an email, ceo@SabrinaMScott.com. And of course, you're going to want to jump into Magic May, SabrinaMScott.com/Magic May. 31 days of magic. It's going to be so much fun. So if you're feeling disconnected from your energy, from your magic, from your witchcraft, it's going to be 31 days of fun, prompts, inspirations, magical vibes. I'm super stoked for it. I could talk about so many other things, but I'm going to cut it off for now. My Instagram is Sabrina M. Scott. YouTube is Sabrina Scott. You can send me an email at ceo@sabrinamscott.com. Of course, I still have merch and like cool fucking hoodies and stuff. It's still chilly here. I don't know how it is where you guys all are, but it is definitely still hoodie weather up here in Toronto. So if you're in the market for a cute hoodie or 2 or 3, the website is shopsabrinamscott.com. Check it out. Okay, friends, thanks so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.